What's up, everybody? Tim Conley here, and I want to give you 5 tips on how to go from freelancer to agency owner. Let's get to it. This question comes from an audience member, Felipe Vergara, who wants to know how to get through those awkward stages of being a freelancer to the glorious riches that come from being an agency owner. Yeah, that whole glorious riches. It's really hard to get. So here's tip number 1. You have to stop seeing yourself as a freelancer. You have to start seeing yourself as a business. Or as Jay-Z aptly said, I'm not a businessman, I am a businessman. I didn't say it nearly as cool as Jay-Z did, but yeah.
We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
Even as a freelancer, you are running a company. The idea of being a freelancer, I'm biased against it. I have always said that freelancer stands for in between jobs, as opposed to a consultant or someone who is a designer or a website developer or a marketer or someone who has chosen a title, a career, as opposed to someone who says, oh, I'm a freelancer. Oh, I'll come in and I'll do some work for you. It's like that person is wanting a job. But if you want to have an agency, well, then you need to start seeing the labor you're doing right now as the precursor, the building blocks that are going to make that agency. The next tip I've got is more of a question. It is a question. Why do you even want an agency in the first place? They're not easy to run. I owned one myself, I help run several others, and I'm a co-owner in one right now. And they are really hard to run. Building up teams, managing projects, managing clients, doing all the sales, the necessary business acumen to run a team and have it run smoothly, not just smoothly, but profitably, is hard to do. And you may not even want any of that. You may not want any of that nonsense whatsoever. If all you want is a very high income, then stay solo. Maybe get an assistant. Maybe use a few contractors every once in a while. But you don't need an agency. You don't need to call yourself an agency. I haven't called my business an agency in years. Every once in a while I'll say a consultancy maybe, but it's still just me. I'm a consultant. I'm a coach. I don't put any airs on about being something bigger than I actually am. I know how to generate massive results for my clients, and that's what they pay me for, and I have the type of business that I really like for myself personally. The investments that I make into other agencies, well, that's because I like making lots of money, and I'm also good at helping them run those companies. So you need to understand, well, why do I even want this? If it's just high income, stay solo. Or build a small team. You don't need to be an agency. If you want something far bigger, very large revenues, which if you run things smoothly equals very large profits. So, if you've got a $50 million a year agency with 30% net income, then you're sitting on $15 million. If you're running a $500,000 agency, self-employed really, but $500,000 agency with 30% net profits, then you're sitting on $150,000. So that's why you would want to go to an agency, is to be able to scale. Because if you can maintain your profits, you can make far more money than you could ever do by yourself or even running a small team. The third tip, and this is an actual tip that will get you to the next level, and that is, how much capital do you need? You need to do the math on what it takes to actually run an agency. I've got a video linked right here and in the description below about the costs of running a world-class agency. You need to understand how much it really costs to run a company. The great part about any kind of service business is you can make the money and then reinvest it back in your business. You don't have to start stockpiling then go out and make money, or like a product business, you have to have cash to make products and then sell it and then reinvest the profits. No, you can just go right to a client, make money, reinvest that money, make more money. So what you need to do is start saving 50% of the revenue that you're making right now. The one thing that's going to kill you from transforming from freelancer to agency owner is lifestyle creep. You know how client scope creep really kills the profits in your business and drives you nuts? Well, your own personal lifestyle, the money you go out and you work and you're like, man, that's my money, and you give it to yourself, and then you go spend it on your lifestyle. You get yourself a new car, you get yourself a new house, you start buying all kinds of stuff. Next thing you know, you have no cash to reinvest into your business, and you're stuck as a freelancer, and you need to go out and get another job to be able to keep up with the lifestyle. If you want to move from freelancer to agency owner, you have to save money. You need capital. All businesses need capital. So you have to start saving it. And the smartest thing you can do is save 50% of all revenue that comes in the door. And then you figure out how to pay your the salaries of your contractors and, well, yourself, pay your own bills out of whatever's left over. I know that's scary. I know that's going to be hard. But that's the best thing you could do. The fourth tip I got for you is make a name for yourself. I call it authority. Other people call it brand, but the thing that really matters is when a prospect looks at you, they look at your content, they talk to you on a call, they see anything about you, and then they see you as the person they need to work with. This is something that you need to do whether you're going to be an agency or not. If you want to be a high-priced freelancer, self-employed, consultant, designer, whatever you want to call yourself, if you want just to make a lot of money at it, then you need to build up your personal brand. You need to become the authority in your market so that you can command high fees, and more importantly, I think, is respect from your clients. Because as a freelancer, I'm pretty sure you've been kicked around by a client or two, and that sucks. No one likes it. The client doesn't even like kicking you around. They do it because they don't see you as an authority. They see you as just a laborer, and you've got to break away from that. And the only way to do that is to make a name for yourself. So what do? Well, you do this. Like, start a YouTube channel, start putting videos on LinkedIn. Like, I do both of those. I've got a link right here to a video on how to get high-ticket clients from your own book. But I don't want you to just make your own content. I want you to show up on other people's content. I've been on other people's YouTube channels. I've been on other people's podcasts, like loads of podcasts. Pretty much anyone who says, hey, would you come onto my podcast, whether they've got 0 listeners, they haven't started yet, or they've got 10, or they've got 100,000 or 1 million of them, I say yes. Because I don't know who's listening to that podcast, but I do know anyone who listens to that podcast is going to understand I'm an authority. I'm an expert on what I do, and I am the authority if you want to transform your agency. Go to Tim. The fifth and final tip I've got for you is to client stack. Wherever you're at right now, say you're doing $1,000 websites and you want to get to the big leagues, which you're going to have to if you want to run an agency. You can't do $1,000 websites and build a solid agency. It's difficult because, well, employees are expensive, and $1,000 for a website doesn't go very far. Or if you're doing digital marketing, which most of the people watching this are, or wanting to do it, you're probably not charging even remotely close to what you need to be charging to build a solid agency. Over at the company that I invested in, Contractor Dynamics, our minimum acceptable engagement is 6 figures now. It used to be a lot lower when I first came in, and I've helped transform this business so that we can say, if you want to work with us, the minimum that we'll take is in the 6 figures. At those prices, we're able to have enough margin that we can hire quality people, and not just to hire quality people, but be able to dedicate their creativity, dedicate their insights, dedicate their expertise to creating the best marketing in the construction industry. This is why you have to have significant fees. Eventually, our minimum acceptable engagement is going to be in the 7 figures. It's just the nature of stacking, of client stacking. You start off, say, at $10,000 a year with a client. Well, then we need to stack one. We need to go after someone who will pay us $20,000. And then we need to go after someone who will pay us $30,000 or $40,000 or $50,000. We will have some lower level clients over time. You do great service for those smaller clients. Granted, you're going to be over servicing them over time because you'll have this extra money from the bigger clients that you've gotten, the stacked clients. You'll over service those smaller ones and they'll stop being profitable eventually. So what you do is you go back to those old clients and you either raise their rates or you send them to someone else. I usually try to raise the rates first, and then if they say, no, we can't pay you that extra money, or we just won't pay you that extra money, which is usually the case, and then you just send them to someone else. You refer them. You don't just leave them on their own. You are there to take care of them. And if they're no longer profitable for you, well, then you help them go to another agency that can serve them at the price point that they're willing to pay. In a matter of a couple of years, you will have gone from a very low level, whatever your level is today, that's the cheapest you'll ever be, is today. In a few years, you'll be triple, quadruple, or what's above quadruple? I don't even know. But you'll do that. You'll be so far ahead of where you're at now by doing the client stacking technique. All right, I hope that helps you out. If you've got questions, and I know I just barely scratched the surface of going from freelancer to agency owner, ask me questions in the comments. I'm more than happy to help you out. And with that said, help me out. Like, subscribe, follow, share, and do all the socials. And we will see each other in the next video.